When we first laid eyes on the farm and saw this beautiful old barn, I told Mike I want a dining table made out of this old barn wood and maybe a headboard and nightstands. I just definitely wanted to capture the nostalgia of the old barn and the farm side of things inside the house. So here today, I'm going to be showing you the whole process of us pulling down the wood, planing it, refurbishing it, bringing life back to it, building a dining table. We also built our nightstand and headboard like I mentioned earlier, but this video is just about the table, and we hope you enjoy watching the process. As you can see, we started by tearing out the old wood. There's quite a bit of wood here, and I told you a while ago that we're going to be using it for a couple of different projects. So we just tried to get as much as we could all at once so that we would have options. This involved pulling all the nails out of it and screws, and just making sure that it was prepared for going through the planer, because if there's screws in there or nails and you try to run it through the planer, you obviously can ruin your planer. Once we got all the nails and screws pulled out of it, I actually did pressure wash most of the wood, and then we trimmed up the ends to guarantee that we had gotten all of the nails and screws out of those ends. This also helped us to get rid of a little bit of wood rot that had taken place on the ends. Next, we started running it all through the planer. Now, this was quite the process considering we don't have the best planer, and we just did the best we could, and that was quite a bit of wood. We were trying to achieve a beautiful, smooth finish. A good friend of ours who happens to make some amazing tables had offered up his workshop for us. He has every tool imaginable, and so we took advantage of that and went out and used some of his equipment. You can see here we've got a track saw going rather than running it through a table saw. This just seemed to be so much easier. We were able to straighten up all of our edges to guarantee that this table was going to be the same width all the way down and across. Our table saw, not the greatest, but we're really grateful for our friend's help. He's very knowledgeable and taught us a lot through this whole process. Here we're just marking where we're going to be putting our domino joints, and this is his super cool domino joiner that we're using. We have a biscuit joiner that we had just planned to use, but hey, he offered this, so we said absolutely. Here we're just putting wood glue in all of those holes that we just made with the domino joiner, and then you will see me go along and hammer the little wooden dominoes in each hole. Next, we worked really quickly to join the table pieces together. We didn't want too much glue squeezing out, or if it did squeeze out, we had to get to it pretty quickly, wiping it off. But we're using all of these clamps to join it all together and then clean that glue off. We allowed it to dry and cure for a few days, and then we went back out and sanded it. Oh my wow, you guys. The sander that he has is absolutely incredible. We did have to trim up an end, as you can see here. Once we got it all sanded, we loaded it up and took it home. I wanted to see what it looked like inside the house. I just kind of wanted to double check measurements and see it with the chairs pushed up next to it, and this was pretty exciting. I'm already just picturing our family sitting around here enjoying meals together. Next, it was time for staining. This is the part I'm super pumped about, even though I was a bit nervous. We went with Special Walnut. This is a Minwax stain that I'm using, just a wiping stain. I chose this color because I have quite a few other pieces in the house that I've made, or Mike and I have made together, and Special Walnut is what we used on those. So I really wanted this to flow and blend and go with all the other woods in the house. You'll see those later on. Once I got it all stained, I did notice a few spots where our glue had not been sanded off very well, and it kind of rejected the stain. So I went back and sanded those glue spots and re-stained over the top of it and got it all to take it up pretty well. I allowed the stain to dry and cure for a day or two, and then it was time to put my clear sealer on. I decided to go with just a clear satin finish and just a Minwax finish, and I applied 2 or 3 coats. I honestly can't remember at this point, and I sanded between coats because you just want to make sure that there's no air bubbles that dry, raised, or just any blemishes or fuzz or anything like that. You know, I'm doing this outside, so anything can settle on it. Dust, cat hair, you name it, it can settle on it. I then brought it inside and decided that it was a bit too shiny for my liking. So I decided to put a few coats of Crystalac Bright Tone Matte Finish on there. This is one of the Crystalac Company's amazing products. I use this in the tumbler making world, and this is also what I used in my studio on top of my wood butcher block countertops. Quite some time ago, I was scrolling through Pinterest and saw the exact table that I wanted. So this is the inspiration for my table. You'll see in the end how similar they look, and what you're seeing here is our son. He is an amazingly talented welder, and I'm definitely utilizing his skills for this table. He and Mike worked together to cut all of the metal. We went with 2x4 tubing. It's a pretty heavy gauge metal that we're using, so no worries of the table tipping over or rocking or anything like that. Once they got it all cut, Colby was able to start welding the base all together. This was so exciting for me. I love seeing my kids put their talents to use, and it just makes a mama really proud when things like this happen. Once Colby completed the table, I decided to clean it really well with acetone. This helps to remove any grease or grime or residue that's on the metal. I'm going to be painting the table, so I definitely need to get as much of that off as possible. A couple of days later, I got my son-in-law to help me move the table out so that I could paint it. I went with the Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Matte Black Finish. It took 2 coats to get the perfect finish. Next, we moved the base inside and attached the wood tabletop to the base. And then we were able to fold up that ugly old plastic table and get rid of it. We've been using that for about 5 months now, and so I was so incredibly happy to have this dining table in my dining space ready and waiting for our first family meal together. I'm absolutely in love with how this turned out. That Pinterest inspiration was just what I needed to kind of get the vision of what I wanted. It's so beautiful. I'm so happy that I ended up switching over to the matte finish on the clear coat. I'm so proud of my son and his skills and thankful for that. Just always keep in mind that you can take something that's old and make it new again. It's pretty cool that this wood is somewhere around 70 years old. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you found a little bit of inspiration in this video to try something new or take something old and make it new again. Thanks for watching and have a blessed day.